Hey, what's up, travelers? Welcome into this little video of ours. Thanks for tuning in. Um, so today I want to talk about humor in astrology, and not necessarily like astrological jokes, although these are really funny. And actually, it's kind of cool to see um, how much how much, please, Jupiter is square my Mercury right now, and the moon is also square all those placements I got in Pisces, and my moon in the third in Virgo, so I can stick to one single subject, mutable in like all the fucking elements, and it impacts my communication. But you know what's funny too? My grandmother used to say like, when she would catch me as a youngling, like a 3 years old or something, when she would catch me doing something bad, I'd be like, "How did you know that I was lying?" or something like that. And she'd be like, "My little finger told me." And I find it quite funny and peculiar, actually, that the little finger is linked to Mercury, and she had no idea. But and it's a common saying, like "my little finger told me." At least it is in French. Um, so vibrationally, that's quite interesting, knowing Mercury is linked to the little finger in palmistry. I think so. Well, you got Mercury, Sun, Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus and Mars. I think, is it? No, it's Mars and then Venus for like the mound of Venus. I think it is. I'm not a pro palm reader. Anyway, we were gonna talk about humor and what planets are linked to it. Because I've seen the question asked a few times, like, what planet rules humor and jokes and stuff like that. And thinking about it, I would say that everything that is in the solar system is correlated. Like, every fragment is seen in the whole. So I wouldn't say that one single planet rules something, but I would say that when we say that a planet rules something, it's actually because a lot of what that thing is linked to the energy of the planet, but every planet has its part in the said thing. So when we're thinking about humor, I've often heard people refer it to Mercury, right? Because humor is often about being witty or being, when humans laugh, it's because they learned something new. It's like a surprise. It's like you learn something new. Like, haha. It's why it can be funny when someone is hurting themselves, like if someone is falling or something, because you just learned in a certain way that this was possible. Like, oh, this must hurt. It's not because you're enjoying the pain of the person, but naturally the reaction might be to laugh because you're just experiencing something new. You're learning something. You're earning a lesson. You're learning. Um, so Mercury definitely has its place in humor, and I have a pretty dark humor. Like I had a friend once tell me like, the jokes you say are true, but they hurt like in a place that's deep within or something like that. And my Mercury is in Pisces in the eighth house, so I can deal a lot with other people's darker thoughts and stuff like that, and make humor out of it. But Mercury doesn't just do humor by itself. It has to have like I feel like Mars really plays a lot in actual humor, because you're trying to strike something, you're trying to strike an emotion into someone. It's an interior reality, just like the sphere of Mars, which is projected outwardly, and it's also putting a light on something darker at times, so there's this Sagittarian energy that goes with it. So a good joke is gonna strike every planet. You're gonna relate to it in like an internal way, so it's gonna um, conjure or summon up an emotion within your moon. You're gonna understand the relativeness of it I mean, through Venus, yes, you're gonna understand how it fucking happens in society, whatever the joke might be about. You know, you understand how it relates to other people, which might add like a certain degree of humor to it, because there's like this unity that comes with it. It's like it could be funny that many people think about the same little dark thing, but then a comedian, or you know, is bringing that forth. So by understanding the relativeness of things through the Venus and the Mercurial aspect, it's adding on to the joke, right? So there's Venus like that, and often like jokes will be about like you know, the love life, or like the other sex, or like a partners, and what it's like to be in a relationship with other humans, right? So that's really Venusian. But at the same time, humor is about expanding our view on something, you know, or making a light of it, making it light, but at the same time, making something bigger than it actually is. You know, it's a joke, you know. So that's Jupiter, but that's also like putting yourself through experiences that make you I don't know, cool. You know, sometimes it's like I didn't know what I was gonna say there, but I was like, oh, maybe if I can just keep talking, like something good will come out. But I just don't really, you know, that's like the Jupiter square my Mercury right now. But you know, Jupiter really is about like expanding, and I feel like a good part of humor is that also humor. You know, if it's about a joke that's well made, you got the Mercury wittiness, wit of it. Oh my god, I can't speak for shit like these transits and just me drinking caffeine like that. You know, so you got the wittiness of it. You understand the language. Perhaps some of the words they're using, the way they're saying stuff, can be add. It can add on to it. You know, they're gonna try to strike a chord, maybe even shock some people. You know, Uranus. You know, you're expecting something out of the joke, but finally it's Uranian. It's a shift. But at the same time, you know, like there's this striking to the core of things, or like having this internal reality which you feel something about, which you feel passionate about, and then you bring it out. You know, just like Mars. So that's a good joke. Will have Mars, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter. It's gonna have a certain baggage of life also, you know, so wisdom through jokes. A good joke is going to carry some kind of wisdom, you know, so that's going to be Saturn. And then a good joke, you know, it's gonna give you vitality, just like the sun would. And at the same time, you're gonna understand how that joke relates to how people see you, to, you know, to the persona that people think you are, which is really linked to the sun, as much as like your ascendant, right? But the ascendant is it's more so abstract. It's more so like the role we're playing. But you know, a good joke is gonna include every planet. And I mean, I haven't really, you know, I'm improvising that at the moment, but Neptune. I mean, all the outer planets are kind of like harder to kind of link to anything that's really physical. It's like they act through another planet which is closer to us, which we can see with our eye, right? So the planets that we need instruments to see, or mathematics to calculate the position of, or anything we need an instrument that we can see with our eye, like the outer planets, they're going to be like the co-rulers of the signs, right? So Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, they're actually the, you know, they're added onto the actual ruler of like a Scorpio, fucking Pisces, and Aquarius. Am I forgetting one? No, I'm not. So they, you know, these outer planets, they kind of need the inner planets, I guess we could call them like that, the inner planets to kind of be portrayed, you know. So there might be some Neptune in the joke you're saying, but the Neptune is gonna go through another planet, perhaps like a, you know, it's really hard to say how Neptune is gonna act, because it's something that is really almost out of our conscious sight, you know. And even when I mentioned Uranus earlier, and I was like, oh, well, you know, I was initially thinking about Mars, but it got me thinking about Uranus. So yeah, I don't know. I just kind of had this idea I was looking for a video to make. I have a few subjects I want to make a video on, but you know, this humor thing. Like, I don't think it's only Mercury. I don't think it's only Jupiter. I think it's a mix of it all. So when you're about to make a joke next time, just think like, okay, does what, or when you just made a joke, be like, okay, well, what planet did this, how did this joke use every planet, you know? What was the baggage of it? How did people relate to it? How was it said? Did it strike a chord into, did it strike the core of people, right? Did it give energy and vitality to others, or did it make them feel kind of bad about themselves, you know? And it really depends on what the purpose of the joke is too. Perhaps some jokes need to have a little bit more Saturn in them rather than just Sun, you know? But balance is key in everything, my friend. Traveler. So thanks for tuning in. Now tuning out, and